Alright guys, so welcome once again to the network automation batch, and let me quickly recap what have we covered and what are we going to cover today. So we started up with Telnet library, the first module of this course. We covered Paramiko, we covered NetMiko, we have then covered some Python 3 theoretical topics. And in the class today, I would be taking up NEPAM. So this is the topic for today's class. So these are all Python module. Okay. So what else are we left with in case of Python? So we are left with PyNTC. We are left with the sub process. We are also left with SCAPI, which is a network packet sniffer module. So basically these two I will cover up in one class, so not much here. PyNTC might be one single class, and then yes, one of the library which I had asked you guys to select. So you guys had selected Nornir to be covered in this package, right? So once we are done with these many Python libraries, I will go towards Ansible. Okay, so Ansible is again 6 to 10 hours of class where we will uh, talk about topics like playbooks, Jinja templating, the inventory files, the Ansible configuration files, YML. So there are again a couple of things in Ansible. So Python is one popular network automation programming which consists of so many modules. So you can take either one of them in your production. You don't have to have all of them in your production, right? So you can go with two or three. Let's say your NetMiko is the one which is a primary module in your production, but NetMiko can rely on Paramiko for certain functionality. Might be NetMiko relies on NEPAM for some certain functionalities. Okay, so you can have multiple protocol in your Python script. You just have to import each one of them with the command import NetMiko, and you can start writing your script. If you want a functionality from NEPAM, you have to just import them. So one Python script can have two or three Python modules, and you can define your tasks. So this is something which we have discussed so far. Ansible on other side is a complete different language, network language. Okay, network automation language. And Ansible itself is consisting of Python. So the back end of Ansible is made on Python. It's all the uh, orientation within Ansible which makes it more easier friendly than Python. Okay, so if I write a difference between Ansible versus Python, Ansible is easier to use. Okay, whereas Python is complex when we write a script, but Python is faster, whereas Ansible is slower. Okay, the reason is we are having couple of files in the case of Ansible, like a separate configuration file, a separate variable file, a separate inventory file, a separate Jinja template. So they have to call each and other to execute a single job. In case of Python, it's a standalone script. You have everything defined on one script and you run it across, right? So that's why it's the some of common difference. So when I start Ansible, you guys will come to know what is this. Okay, so after Ansible, I have some theoretical topics for Cisco DevNet. Okay, so where I would cover like what is Yang, what is YML, what is netconf, what is RESTconf, what are APIs, what is content. So basically, whole theoretical topic. There is no practical in this. Okay, your Cisco DevNet Associate is all about theoretical topic. So I have here uh, the containers. What are Dockers? I'll give some examples, and yes, might be we are covering the whole course outline once we are done with this topic. Okay, we don't have anything left. Fine. Okay, so let's come back to the class. Let's come back. So this is all about NEPAM today. One of the network module, a Python module which works on API. Okay, application programming interface. So why is this different than all other modules like Paramiko, NetMiko, Telnet library? How is NEPAM different than these? So these three modules were making use of the legacy transport method, that's Telnet or SSH. But NEPAM on other side runs on the unified APIs. Now this is a module which can be integrated with all the Nexus versions or the ASR version, basically which have the integrated Python or which have the API capabilities. Okay. On the other side, these are the module that works on the legacy device like 3750, 2780, the 6500. So basically these are consisting of 80% of your whole campus network, right? So if I talk about the core, distribution and access layers, so here is where you use these modules. So only two devices, whereas your rest 80% are all your distribution and all your access layer, which is consisting of the legacy method, right? So this batch was created specially dedicated to these legacy method, not for this, but later on some student wanted to have a little bit on this. So that's why I said I'll take Cisco DevNet. We will see the netconf, all those things. So just to give you an example, NEPAM is one such network or Python module which you can integrate with these devices also as well. Okay, but now what about the traditional devices? How about these devices? Is NEPAM going to be compatible with these legacy boxes? Yes, it's going to be. So what we are going to do is, let's say I have NEPAM, which is by default on APIs, unified APIs, and when I'm dealing with a 3750, now I will make use of the NetMiko's SSH properties. Okay, I need NetMiko to be enabled so that my NEPAM can integrate with the device. So that's a catch over here. Okay, so that's how NEPAM is going to be acting as a backward compatible with the legacy box. Okay, so let's go to the official website of NEPAM. So this is the official website of NEPAM. What are the prerequisites required to install this? Okay, so let me first talk about few supporting vendors. So these are the supporting vendors. You will not see a lot of things like F5, Palo Alto, Checkpoint, FortiGate. You will not see. These are some networking device that NEPAM is going to help. That's why when I said it's a unified API, you guys would have thinking that why then we discuss about Paramiko and NetMiko, right? We could have discussed NEPAM in very depth, but unfortunately these are supporting only these many vendors. Whereas if you talk about NetMiko, it will support a lot of other vendors, right? You have Checkpoint, Palo Alto, FortiGate. There are a lot of different vendors. F5, which NetMiko will support. Unfortunately, NEPAM is going to support these ones, okay, which is quite enough for us because it is going to cover a lot of things. Okay, Cisco is covered. You have Juniper. You have Nexus boxes. You have Arista. Fine. What else about this uh, module? So this is a unified. It works on unified API. Okay, and when it contacts these boxes, when I have a script written on my PyCharm IDE and I'm pushing, or when I'm trying to establish SSH on one of them, so let's see on which transport does NEPAM uh, create those SSH connection. Okay, so let's go to Okay, so let's go to, I hope it's under, okay, give me a second. Okay, so let's go here. I guess it should be on this. Yes, it's this. So when I go here, as I told you, this is Arista, Junos, XR, OS, Nexus OS, SSH, and iOS. Now you can see how they get integrated. I'm talking about the transport channel, okay, the SSH channel. So on in the case of Arista, NEPAM is going to make use of APIs. These APIs are Arista compatible. Similar way, in the case of Junos, it's this API. In the case of XR, as I told you, they have their own APIs. Okay, even your Nexus device, they have the OS. Now, are these poor two guys, iOS, the legacy box, which you have in your data centers kept from last 5-10 years, and you have no way to replace all of them with the latest API boxes. It's a cost leading factor, right? Changing 80% of network devices to some devices which is API capable, just to integrate, is not a solution here. You must get alternative solution, and the solution is bringing up Netmiko, NEPAM, and vice versa, or anything else which is running on these existing devices. I'm not talking about replacing the hardware, just to make sure the NEPAM or any latest module like Nornir can get integrated. That's a, we have alternative in case of modules. When we talk about Python modules, we have alternatives. I can select Nornir, I can take up Netmiko, I can take up NEPAM. I have the option, but I don't have option in the case of hardware. Hardwares are plugged up, fixed up. There are a lot of traffic in and out. I just cannot change it for the sake of integration, right? So these are the two boxes which are working on the Netmiko's SSH, and that's how your NEPAM can be integrated on these boxes. Okay. So you can check this in case if you are working on Junos, just go ahead and just see what kind of versions is that all, and what are the backend libraries. Might be if you want to see that. Okay, fine. So this was supporting devices, and these are few very useful commands. In the case of, not commands, I can say functionalities. Okay, very useful inbuilt functionality that is provided by NEPAM. So in short, let me say I have couple of devices, and the task given to me is to push an external file to these devices. Okay, and on basis of missing configuration, I repeat, missing configuration. Let's say I have a show run on all of them, and I have an external file which has three additional or three missing lines which I want to get added up on these devices. So with the help of these inbuilt command, without any 10 lines, 20 lines, don't have to bring up 20 lines to do this. I can do this, of course, in Telnet library or Paramiko or Netmiko, but in the case of NEPAM, it's very easy because of these inbuilt commands or inbuilt functions. Okay, so I can say that these are 4 lines, and I want to push it, or I want to configure them on these boxes. So that's possible. Okay, similar way, I can also compare it. Okay, comparing is something. Let's say you are given a task, but you don't want to commit the change at that moment. You're preparing your change configuration at this moment. So you have to SSH on all the boxes, see the running configuration, and you have to see if you have those uh, additional lines. So let's say the additional lines now are logging server 1.1.1.1. Now let's say these are some new added up server in your production. Okay, so you have to go on each box and you have to see if this has been added up or not. Now that could be a lengthier process, right? To log into every box, see the running configuration. Now you can run the NEPAM script with the help of compare config. It's gonna pull the configuration if it's there or it's absent in the boxes, and then you can make the configuration plan, you can send it to the management on, and once it get approved, you can do it on any weekends, right? So that's how normal change configuration work across the enterprises. So yes, so we will see all these things. I'll show you how these two inbuilt functions work. One is replace, merge, configs. I'll talk about that. And regarding the simplicity, you have all your commands uh, predefined. Now, why is this be helpful to me? So let's say when I make use of this predefined syntax inside my script, so I'm gonna get some output. Definitely, I'm gonna get output when I do see get arp table. I'm gonna get output. That's something we also achieved in our previous modules of previous modules like NetMiko, Paramiko, Telnet library. But how is NEPAM's output different than those three? So in the case of NEPAM, your output is in the dictionary format. Okay, you are going to get the output in dictionary format. Now, what is dictionary going to do? It's a indexable kind of data. Okay, indexable in the sense, if you want to see what is located on index value 1, so you can get the output. Okay, similar way, they are numbered, or they can be changeable. So those are few things about the dictionary which we covered in the case of Python theory, right? There are a couple of data types. One was uh, tuples, dictionary, sets, and what else did we see? We had a string, integer, bytes, right? So I'm talking about this. In case of the previous three, it used to be string. Strings are non-indexable. We cannot uh, index it. Okay, so why I'm talking about this is, think little broader. Okay, think in this way. You are writing a code, and you are giving this script or this codes to someone who is not from a network background. Okay, or might be he's a fresher, or might be he's a L1 engineer. So you don't want them to run the script. Instead, you would like to give them a web portal or a web application where they just have to use some drop downs. Okay, so let's say they log into the internal portal like 10.1.1.1. They will see the uh, portal page, and they have to just select that these are the devices and this is the script, and then they can execute this. And in the backend is where you have written the script, which get integrated with the box, and they can see the output if it is successful or not. You don't want them to get exposed to this script. Okay, that's something which they are not capable of in for 1 year of L1 engineer I'm talking about. Okay, or even from the security point, also from, let's say, some management team or someone who wants to see the functionality of this. So you would give them access to this, not to this, right? So what happens is, when you have integration between the front end portal and the back end script, it's always good you have the data achieved in the dictionary format, so that you can easily send those digit or send those data to the application. If you make use of a string, your string data will be not recognized by your application. You have to convert the string to dictionary, or you have to change it to the JSON format, and then you have to send it to the application. So that's a additional step here. So NEPAM is helping you again in those scenarios when you are integrating it with the applications. Okay, so we have only seen from the scripting side. We write script, and with the help of PyCharm we execute this. But the scripts are, in usual case, the scripts are not exposed to the engineers. This will be in the back end, and there will be a front end with your company's logo, and you just have to log in, and you have to select the devices that you want to push the change. You have to select the configuration file and just do the change, and then they will see on their display if it was successful, or what was the post checkup. So everything on the portal on the front end. They don't have anything to do on the back end. This is where guys like you, senior folks, will sit and keep tuning the scripts. Okay, so these are pre-built command which will give you the output in the dictionary format. So I'll show you some example, so you will really feel happy to see the output. It's very beautiful. The orientation and the information that we looks will be uh, properly shown up. We don't have to like scroll down on hundreds of line. The things that we are looking for, it will be displayed in very simplified manner. And yes, the NEPAM is also going to help us on three other features. So you can run ping on n number of devices, you can run traceroute, and you can also load the templates. Okay, whenever you're calling templates. So these are some templates like set host name, ntppos, delete. So these are few things which are additional in the case of. So yes, there are some features that is deprecated from previous version. So these are some prerequisite. Okay, so in the case of the iOS, which has no native APIs, you have to rely on the netmicos library. I'll tell you what is archive. Okay, this is very important. This is a feature which is inside your Cisco box, which has to be enabled. And why do we enable these archive is, so as I told you that there are some inbuilt features of merge and replicate, right? So you cannot run this feature until you take a backup of your running configuration on your production box. Okay, so these backup will be temporarily stored on archive folder. So I'll do that. So don't worry for now. I'm just showing you the different NEPAM features. So they also have self-signed certificates. They have banners. They have the file operation prompt. They support SCP. Once again, this is a file transfer protocol. So basically Cisco box support 4 different type: SCP, SFTP, FTP, TFTP. So by default NEPAM is going to support SCP. Okay, so let's start with writing the script. So I'll create a new file. So let's say NEPAM1. Okay, and I'll take out this. Okay, so let's write first script. Okay, regarding installation, it's not a big deal. So what I have done is, since you all know, I make use of PyCharm. Okay, PyCharm ID. So I went to settings and click on project interpreter. So as you know, you need NEPAM. Okay, NEPAM, network automation and programmability abstraction layer with multi vendor support. So this is the one. So along with this, make sure you also have netmiko, because that's a prerequisite for NEPAM to work. So these two will do the job. So you can work on the NEPAM scripts. And for those guys who are running on the Linux box, the command is pip install NEPAM and pip install netmiko. This is for the Linux guys, so Ubuntu guys or Linux guys. So you have to make use of the pip method, or you can also have the sudo apt command where you can easy install NEPAM. So you can find this on their documentation. Okay, so if you go to the installation file, so they have all the package installation method. So if you are making use of FreeBSD, this is the package. Okay, and if you want to have PyCharm and NEPAM, so you can set that as well. Okay, so anyways, might be you have to search, but since I am using this, so I'm just telling you straightforward. You just have to go to the settings and click on this plus symbol and add NEPAM. Okay, that's going to bring the NEPAM. So once your ID is supporting the NEPAM features, it's just to call those. Okay, so you go to your script and you call the NEPAM functionality. Now let's say writing the first script. So NEPAM official website is going to give you some test scripts which you can easily take it up. Okay, I'll just do necessary change and I'll show how does this run. So my box right now is, so let's say what is my box. So my device is this. Okay, 32.200. so I'm taking up that IP. And as you all know, I make use of admin and Cisco, which is easier and simpler to remember. This is arguments, optional arguments. I can take this out. Okay, this is just a optional. So this is more than enough. 4 lines of command to get started with your NEPAM. So if I run this, okay, so what does it say? No connection could be made because the target machine actively refused. So okay, that's because I'm making use of a wrong network drivers. Okay, it should be iOS, not EOS. iOS is for iOS family. Okay, EOS is for Arista. So let me run this. Okay, so my script is running successfully. That means my ID, my PyCharm ID, has detected NEPAM. Okay, because if I would not have installed those modules, those libraries over here, might be this command would have thrown me some error that we don't detect NEPAM. We don't know what is NEPAM. But in our case, there is no such warning. There is no such error. So that means my ID is fine. My script is good to get developed now. Okay. So let me tell you what are these 4 lines. The first line, as usual, it's calling up the module and calling up those SSH drivers. Okay. So in the case of NetMiko, the NetMiko developer had made use of transport channel called as remote handler. Sorry, connect handler. Okay. So he made use of the word called connect handler. Remember? So this was in the case of NetMiko. Now the NEPAM developer, instead of making use of this and raise some uh, confusions, he went and he created a different word, which is very good. We can understand now, right? So this line is very equivalent to this line which we have learned in the previous classes. So we are calling the NEPAM and we are calling the functions within NEPAM. So this is one of the function which I will be using to do a SSH on this box. Okay. Okay, let me take this out. So the first line is done. Second line, I am going to define what is my box is about. Is it a iOS? Is it a EOS? Is it a Nexus? Or it's a Junos? Okay. So in my case, it's a iOS and I am going to make use of the function get network driver, which is a predefined command, and I'm making use of a predefined variable. Now this don't have to be driver. I can make use of 1 2 3 4 also. Okay, just to show you that this is a temporary or a user variable. Okay, this is a user variable and it's not a something inbuilt, so I have to also change here. So I define it's a iOS family. I'm going to define what is my IP address, what is the username and password, and I'm going to make use of this variable once again, and I'll take the whole data in a new variable called device, and this variable will send a command called open and brackets. Now this is very important. This is for SSS establishment. Okay, So if you just think that this was just a optional, don't take it that way. So let me say, let me close this by putting this under comment section. Okay, so only 3 lines. So let's see, do I get an output? Okay, so we got an output. Okay, we at least we didn't get error. But what happens is, let's say I would have some other commands like show run commands. Those would not have got executed without this. Okay, so this is very important command. So basically, collectiveness of these 3 commands are going to get me SSH established. Okay, I need to define the proper iOS family. I need to define my device IP and usernames, and I must take the SSH connection. So that's because of this particular statement. So at this, after executing these 4 lines, I'm having a successful SSH connection with my device. Okay, how do I check what are these NEPAM supporting? So I told you even in the previous class, I would like to print some directory values. Okay, so let's say I'm going to print uh, the directory that this box is going to support. Okay, and I'll also close this, which so that it don't so that it don't collect some garbage values. So I'm going to say device close. Okay, and if I run this, so you can see I have, okay, there's a spelling mistake, it should be close. I can see NEPAM is going to support these many predefined functions. Okay, it can be get environment, it could be get config, it could be get fact, it could be a connection test, it could be get users, it could be anything. Okay, so these are some inbuilt or predefined function. This command has nothing to do, it was just to demonstrate NEPAM. So I'll take this out. Okay, I'll take this out, and now we will do some real network automation. So I'll take one of the predefined from this table. Okay, so under iOS I have various commands. So let's take up the first one. Okay, let's take up the first one and let's execute the output. So how am I going to send these command? I'm making use of device as my variable to open up the SSH. So basically this is a variable which is acting as those tunnel. Okay, so let me try to tell what is happening. I have my script here. Okay, NEPAM here. I have my Cisco iOS here. I'm creating a transport channel. Okay, a transport channel which is for SSH. Now this transport channel is going to carry the read output and write output. Okay, so what is that variable that's going to carry the data? It's your device, because we are making use of a container called device. What is variable? It's a empty container. Okay, so this empty container, I have said the name of this container is device. So this device container with open has given me a channel or a transport channel where I can execute my show command. So next command would be to send that CLI command. Okay, so I'm going to write a CLI command. So let's say device, and I'm going to see get ARP table. Okay, so this get ARP table will be then printed up. Now how can I print this? So for that I'll make use of a variable called output, and I'll say print output. Okay, so what is happening is my device is now taking up this command. Okay, and the output that I get, I want to be stored on a new variable called output, which is again a empty container. And this empty container, once it comes on the IDE side, the script side, I'm going to print it, and we will be seeing the output. So that's all in and out of the packet level, which I guess you will be damn sure by now after completing like 14-15 classes. Okay, just couple of lines in the case of knee palm. So I'll run this. So if you see, we have got the output, and as I told you, they are going to be in a dictionary format. Dictionary format is nothing but key value format. We have already covered Python theory. So in the case of dictionary format, it's always going to be in this order. Let's say key 1 value 1, a comma, key 2 value 2 comma, key 3 value 3 comma, and then closing the curly brackets. Okay, but they are not a very good output. I mean, they are good from application side. Let's say if this data is going to the front end application, so application will recognize what is what, but as a human being it's little difficult to read this because they look very messed up, right? I have one more way to better this output. How if I bring up for loop and take them in a line by line? So you know how for loop works. If I have a list and if I define a for loop, I'm going to get the output in line by line statement, something like, so let's say uh, for let's take some other variable. Let's say for xyz in output. Okay, and then I print this, and my new variable will be xyz, which is in a for loop format. Okay, I'm not going to change the data structure. I'm only bringing up the for loop behavior now, that is one below one. Okay, let me run this. If you want, I can also take a print here, so you guys know what is the difference I'm talking about. So you will get one print output for the default output behavior. We will convert that to the for loop. For loop is one after one, or one in line, right? So if I run this, you will see the two outputs. One is the normal behavior of knee pump and other one is the for loops, right? So this is the normal behavior, which is not very user friendly. How about this one? Okay, like we can still understand what exactly is this. So I took the for looping output, so one after one below one line. Now what we can do now is we can bring some JSON format. Okay, JSON is JavaScript nodes which will help me uh, uh, to convert these data, to convert this dictionary data into better way. Okay, I have talked this, if you remember. Let me open up that file if I have. Okay, so this was the PDF. So if you remember, the last topic of this PDF was to convert those dictionary to the JSON format. Okay, we have two two different syntax for doing that. One is called as JSON load. Let me write it here. So one is called as JSON load. This is a scenario when you are converting from JSON to Python data structure. But in our case, we already have Python dictionary format and I want to convert to the JSON value. Now I will make use of this syntax called as JSON dumps. Okay, so with the help of JSON dumps, I'll try to bring a better output. Okay, so let's write this. So let's say I want to make use of JSON dumps, which is again a variable. Okay, let me write it this way: JSON dot dumps, and what is the output? Output is out. Okay, so I can also show you writing here output. This will support various features like sorted keys. Okay, I'll tell you what is sorted keys going to do. It's also going to support indentations. It's called as indent. I say four spaces. Okay, and I'll print this. So what am I going to print? I have not defined it. So let's say I am taking the dump JSON value. Okay, I am taking all these things variable in the variable called dump JSON. I'll print that. So do you think I have done my script properly? No, there's something missing. That is to call JSON. Okay, you're writing a functionality to bring the JSON, but you are not calling it, so that's not going to work. So you have defined JSON, and you are writing the JSON dumps, which is predefined uh, command for Python JSON integration. Okay, I'll tell you what does this do. So I'll rerun now, and we have three outputs. So we will see how are they going to look different from each other. Okay, so I have the three outputs. So my first output was a raw output, which is in a single line in a dictionary format. To make it more readable, I made use of for looping, and I got them into one below one. Again, they are in a dictionary format. Okay, but I was not very happy. What I did is, since these are a dictionary format, I made use of JSON with Python, and I got the output in the JSON values now. Okay, so you will see this is again in the dictionary format, but it's written in the JSON uh, formats. Okay, so this is readable to anyone, so you can easily understand what is what. So this is in a key value syntax. Okay, so this is how we can easily get JSON features within NEPAM, because it's already in the dictionary format, and we can easily convert them. Okay, I don't say that JSON is only used for converting dictionary to JSON. JSON is also going to support other data structures like dictionary, list, tuple, all other data structure. But in the case of dictionary, we can have them integrated with the front end applications. Okay, we can easily integrate with the front end applications. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll show you what does these two lines gonna do, the sort keys and indentation key. So if I turn off this, if I say it's a false, you will see these are now not in a sorted value. Okay, they're gonna be shuffled. Okay, so you see earlier it was this one, this one, and this one. Now you see the values are being changed. Okay, so it's up to you how do you want to sort them. Okay, what is indentation? It's about the spaces that you want to bring. So I said 4 spaces, so you can see I have 4 spaces here. I can reduce them. Okay, I can say I need only 2, so that those spaces are gonna get decremented by 2 now, right? So they have been decremented. Let's say I want a spaces of 10, so you will see the change now. See, this is how the spaces are going to increase. Okay, just to give you a better readability, so I would prefer keeping it 4, because that's little standard, and you can have all the proper tree structures. Okay, you don't have to like bring this line beneath this or any other line of overlapping. So 4 is better way. So this is a whole script. Okay, let me keep it here so that I can give it in, at the end. I'll give this on the portal. Okay, so this was our first script. Now let's go to next script. Okay, where I will take the output of few other commands. So let's say I take down these commands, which is not required. I also don't need this because I have my JSON now. Okay, let's say I want to have some other configuration, or I want to see get facts. Okay, and I'll run this. Okay, sorry, I have not closed it. Okay, this is to see get fact output, so which is going to give you all the supporting features, like what is the vendor, what is the iOS, what is the serial, what is the model, host name, what is the domain name, what are the interface. Similar way you can try for any of the combination and you can give it try. Okay, fine. So what else did I say here? After all these things, I mean after all this get commands, if you see the last few ones like ping, I'll show you how does this ping can be integrated, or how can you integrate this. Okay, so it's going to be remain till this. Okay, I'll change over here, so I'll say it's now ping. Okay, and if you see I can have a multiple arguments within this function. So it says self, destination, source, TTL, timeout, network drivers, right? So I say what is the destination. Okay, so let me go back to my box here. If I open up this, okay, so if I open up this, if I do ping and enter, it's going to ask you couple of uh, information like protocol IP. So let's say 192.168.32.1. So let's say 192.168.32.1. Okay, one second. Looks like I have some conflicting configuration, so let me delete them. Okay, so actually they are trying to build OSPF. So when I do show ping, it's gonna support a lot of things. So protocol IP, what is the target IP, 192.168.32.1, or how many counts or how many ICMP packets you wanna send, 5. What is the size of these packets? So let's say 100. How many timeouts? Let's say by default 2. Extended command, no. Sweep range, no. And then you get an output, right? So same thing I can also achieve with the inbuilt syntax in case of NEPAM. So let's say destination is 192.168.32.1, and let's put them in string format. Let's say the count to be on 10. This is a number, so I'm not going to put them in string. I'll keep it as integer. I say source. What is the source? From where are you trying to ping this? So I say 192.168.32.200. Okay, and rest let's keep it as it is. I'll run this. Okay, so you see now they are again a beautiful output. So you send 10, there is no loss. This was the minimum RTT time and this was the maximum RTT time. This is the average. Okay, this was the IP that you pinged. There's a 0 round trip time. Okay, so you can see a better output, and this output, when you take it forward to the application, your application is going to give you in any format. Let's say the application was actually a monitoring tool, right? You can have n number of application. It doesn't matter, it should be a application uh, where you can select some template or run the configuration. It could be a monitoring tool, or it could be a ticket raising application, and this information can lead to create an ticket automatically, right? You can integrate with n number of possibilities. I'm just giving you some hints. Let's say it was a ticketing tool. You basis on this output, you create a new ticket. This ticket goes to the L1 team. L1 team then checks it, if the box is up or down, and then accordingly do the troubleshooting, and then send it to L2 team or L3 team and do the next according steps. Similar way, let's say it was sent to the monitoring tool, and the monitoring tool is on a pie chart, or it has those graphs where you can see what is the uptime or what is the health of the device. Out of 100 device, how many devices are up? So you can get the output in various representations. Okay, so that is what is my point here is, don't think from the numbers here. This is just one option for we network engineers. The other rest of people like management team, L1 guys, or any other guys, audit team, they don't understand the numbers. They understand these tools, these representation. Okay, so that's where it's going to be helpful for you guys to integrate with application especially. Okay, so this was regards to the ping statement. And yes, you can again have lot of arguments defined. If I type nipam ping modules, so I'm going to show what all arguments is this ping going to support. Okay, so you can have count, destination, OS of the device, host name. You have n number of things. You also have VRF, virtual routing, in case of you have multiple routing table based on customers. You can still make use of NIPAM to initiate the pings. Okay,